speak on Numbers chapter 4. I'm going to read through it, give you what I think about it. So here's this. Let's go to Numbers chapter 4, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, after their families, by the house of their fathers. Pay attention. It's by the house of the fathers. From 30 years old and upward, even until 50 years old, all that enter into the host to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. See, it emphasizes the father. It even applies today. What last name do you usually take? The father. Let's keep going. Verse 4. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. So, the man leads the church, not the woman. A woman shouldn't be a pastor. A man should be a pastor. Let's keep going. Verse 5. And when the camp setteth forward, Aaron shall come, and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil, and cover the ark of the testimony with it. Let's keep going. Verse 6. And shall put thereon the covering of badger skins, and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staves thereof. Trying to picture it in my mind, but have you ever gone to any church that believes in God indiscriminately? What are the primary colors usually? Like blue, you know. Let's keep going. Verse 7. And upon the table showbread they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the spoons, and the bowls, and covers to cover withal, and the continual bread shall be thereon. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of badger skins, and shall put it in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongues, and his snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they minister unto it. So yeah, it's kind of out of respect. You put the cloth over the candles. Yeah, it doesn't say you'll be punished over it, but it's just like a level of respect to put cloth or or something to cover the candles with. Let's keep going. Verse 10. And they shall put it and all the vessels thereof within a covering of badger skins, and shall put it upon a bar. not a bar. I mean, not a bar like what you think of in the world. But let's keep going. Verse 11. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, and cover it with the covering of badger skins, and shall put to the staves thereof. And they shall take all the instruments of ministry, wherewith they minister in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of badger skins, and shall put them on a bar. Oh, like a bar stool or something like that. I think what they mean by a bar is probably a table. But when you think of a bar in the real world sense, you think of a place where they serve alcohol. But no, that's not the case. A bar could just be a table. Why do you think they call it a bar? Well, because when you're walking somewhere in some crazy city by the coastline or whatever, you see like people sitting at a stool, and there's like a table or so-called bar. But this is like a church bar, like a church table, you know. Verse 13, and they shall take away the ashes from the altar and spread a purple cloth thereon. Oh, so that's where they get cremation from, and up until this day, that's probably this verse right here, verse 13. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar and spread a purple cloth thereon. And they shall put upon it all the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it, even the censers, the flesh hooks, and the shovels, and the basins, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread upon it a covering of badger skins, and put to the staves of it. Don't know what, I don't know any place that sells badger skins. I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure it out. Verse 15, and when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward after that, the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it, but they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation. Yeah, go figure. You can't touch anything holy. Don't know what they're referring to, but to touch something holy and die for it, it could mean it could mean anything in the church, maybe a woman kneeling to pray. You ever wonder why they put something to cover the woman as she prays? They cover the dress of the woman, or they you can't touch them. Let's see, what else can't you touch in the church that's holy? Maybe a glass of wine, as the priest is walking out in the middle to put into cups to serve everyone else a glass of wine. It's not at the top of my head yet, but I'm just brainstorming. Let's keep going. Verse 16. And to the office of Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest pertaineth the oil for the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily meat offering, and the anointing oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein is, and the sanctuary, and in the vessels thereof. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Cut ye not off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites. But thus do unto them that they may live and not die, when they approach unto the most holy things, Aaron and his sons shall go in and appoint them, every one to his service and to his burden. So that's him saying to not cut them off from worship services, to invite them in, saying, "Hey, come worship with me, come worship God with me," and just don't make them sit over there. Invite them to come over and worship God with you. Um, you know, treat them as your family in the house of worship. If they sin, correct them. Correct them if they sin. There's a lot of people that say there's a lot of people that will say who are you to call me out, whether I sin or not, blah blah blah. But here it is right here, verse 19 and 20. You got to call people out on their sins, saying, hey, what you're doing is not right. Because it's out of love to call someone out on their sins. Let's keep going. Verse 21. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take also the sum of the sons of Gershon throughout the houses of their fathers by their families, from 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shalt thou number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This is the service of the families of Gershonites, to serve and for their burdens. So I guess they have like a debt to pay to God. So as verse 24 says, this is the service of the families of the Gershonites. Well, everybody has a debt to God. So, let me reread this over. Let me answer this door real quick. That was this neighbors moving their furniture. Where was I? Okay, let's start with verse 21. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take also the sum of the sons of Gershon throughout the house of their fathers by their families, from 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shalt thou number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This is the service of the families of the Gershonites, to serve and for the burdens. So, yeah, like God is calling upon everybody to serve in the house of worship, whether it be like, you see different churches. Some are black, some are white, some are Mexican, Arab, whatever. Going to the church, and you can come as a stranger unto the church, and you can worship with them, because God doesn't discriminate. He's how do you say it? He's he's not a respecter of persons. He's an all loving God. What's to prevent you from, say, you're a Mexican, to go into a black church, or into an Arabic church, or a Chaldean church, whatever. It doesn't matter the color or the race of the person. Just go into church. It doesn't matter if I don't know, if you're it doesn't matter if you're a white person in Africa and all the churches are African. Go into the church and worship with your neighbors. Let's keep going. Verse 24. This is the service of the families of the Gershonites to serve and for burdens. And they shall bear the curtains of the tabernacle and the tabernacle of the congregation, his covering, and the covering of the badger skins that is above upon it, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Yeah. Let me address like some churches have like a certain ethnicity worshiping, because like there's different struggles for different races, and like sometimes you can find a church of a certain of your own ethnicity to come and talk about like the struggles or the oppression of others, um, to see how you can overcome certain things, certain obstacles or whatever. And those churches are there for that too. But also like you can come and worship God with as a nomadic person, or as someone who might be a little different and lives in the neighborhood of another race. you know but come and worship God with them. And you know if they talk about their struggles amongst their own race, then so be it. That's fine. Um, God wants us to get along with everybody. Let's keep going. Verse 26. And the hangings of the court, and the hanging for the door of the gate of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and by the altar round about, and their cords, and all the instruments of their service, and all that is made for them, so shall they serve. Yeah, cords. Well, trying to think. I think they did have Baghdad batteries back then, which is basically like a lamp with lemon juice and all that stuff to make electricity with it. So they did have electricity back then. That's my wild guess. Like, I think the Baghdad battery has been around for quite some time now. So has soap, as it got introduced into the other continents by the nomadic Hebrews. But that's a story for the previous chapters. Let's keep going. At the appointment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of Gershon, it's the neighbors again. Okay, let's keep going. Verse 27. At the appointment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of Gershon, of the Gershonites, in all their burdens, and in all their service, and ye shall appoint unto them in charge all their burdens. At the appointment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of the Gershonites, and all their burdens, and in all their service, and ye shall appoint unto them in charge all their burdens. So I guess they could say like that they should stand up in the church and confess like what their sins are, what they're guilty of, what obstacle is, or just anything to talk about as you go up in front of the church. Maybe pass a game of rolling a ball, saying what are you guilty of, or what are you struggling with, and you pass the ball around, introducing yourself to a different person, calling your name and such. Let's see, like as a church that holds a service, Let's keep going. Verse 28. This is the service of the families of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation, and their charge shall be under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. So, it may have been the hand of Ithamar to collect the currency it was back then, whether it be change, the currency back then was shekels and stuff, as I read in the in the previous parts of the Old Testament. The son of Aaron the priest, holding out the hand to collect for the church to make it better, or to pay the property tax, or whatever the taxes were back then. I imagine they did have some type of currency and property tax or whatever. Let's keep going. Verse 29. As for the sons of Merari, thou shalt number them after their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, shalt thou number them, every one that entereth into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. Verse 29. As for the sons of Merari, thou shalt number them after their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, shalt thou number them, every one that entereth into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. So, I guess it's a way of keeping a tally on who comes and who goes. Even as we do now, if someone doesn't show up to a church and they show up 2 Fridays from now, or 2 Sundays or Saturdays from now, they'll be like, "Where have you been?" And someone might tell the truth, some might tell half the truth, some might make up a lie and say, "Oh, I was over at sanding wood," when they were over drinking or going to the bar or the strip club or whatever. I guess it's a way to keep a tally of who comes and who goes. And the pastor or someone at the front of the church could call them out and say, "I saw such and such at the club on Saturday," and embarrassing them or whatever, and trying to get them to confess or feel guilty about something. I don't know. Some ways they approach it may be either right or wrong, but I might address it later as I go further into the Bible. Let's keep going. Verse 31. And this is the charge of. Let's start from 28 and keep reading down. We'll start from 28 again, just so we have a understanding. This is the service of the families of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation, and their charge shall be under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. As for the sons of Merari, shalt thou number them after their families, by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old. Shalt thou number them, every one that entereth into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. This is to keep a tally. Who shows up for church, who does what on what day, and why did they miss 2 of the Fridays, 2 of the Saturdays, or 2 of the Sundays, and see if they tell the truth, see if they told part of the truth or a flat out lie, a white lie, or whatever the case may be, or even just to tally up, just to call the list of who goes to war for the sake of their tribe or their own people. Let's keep going. Verse 30. From 30 years old and upward unto 50 years old shalt thou number them, every one that entereth into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. So it's like a teamwork, It can be like a teamwork of who does the work for the congregation, maybe by age or whatever. I don't know. Let's keep going. Verse 31. And this is the charge of their burden, according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and the sockets thereof. So all these people are responsible for what goes on in the church, who has the tambourines, and who does the dances, and who worships the Lord. Because after all, we have to have fun worshiping the Lord. And it isn't just a service where everyone is just like, oh, go along, that kind of thing. But like, it could be like who paints the walls, who does the tambourine service or the music service, or any of those services that I may have forgot to mention. But you kind of get the idea. I mean, what churches? What was your obligation to a church in any of the past churches you went to? You kind of got the idea. Or even if you haven't been to a church before, go visit a church and get the experience yourself. After all, you do have to read the Bible. You should. I recommend you do read the Bible for yourself to find out if. Just read the Bible for yourself. Study to show thyself approved. Read the Bible for yourself and see all the quirks and even the outright stupidity that a lot of these churches make up. Because I'm sure as heck, Easter isn't in the Bible, but it sure does talk about Passover, or give hints to little clues about Passover, because there sure ain't no Easter with the Easter egg bunny. There's no St. Patrick's Day. There's no Christmas, and there. Well, go to Jeremiah 10. There is no. The Christmas tree is an evil thing. Like, they even talk about the description of what they do to the tree and all that stuff. Like, you'll see some lies that are in the churches, and you got to find it out for yourself. Study to show thyself approved. But let's continue with Numbers, verse 32. And the pillars of the court round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords, with all their instruments, and with all their service, and by name, ye shall reckon the instruments of the charge of their burden. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari, according to all their service, in the tabernacle of the congregation under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. And Moses and Aaron and the chief of the congregation numbered the sons of the Kohathites after their families and after the house of their fathers. Again, pay attention to the respect to the name of the father, which would be your dad, because the respect extends to what last name you keep. Well, I wonder if they mention that in the Bible, if you keep the name of the Father. But anyways, the respect extends to who should be the pastor. The man should be the pastor of the church, as I have read in the first part of Numbers chapter 4. Let's keep going. Verse 35. Well, let's reread verse 33. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest, and Moses and Aaron, and the chief of the congregation, numbered the sons of the Kohathites after their families, and after the house of their fathers. You see, who holds all of the church? I mean, who are the leaders of all the church? It should be the males, you know. Verse 35 from verse 34. And Moses and Aaron and the chief of the congregation numbered the sons of the Kohathites after the families and after the house of their fathers. You see, do you ever call a female a chief? No, I don't think so. Let's keep going. Verse 35. From 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entereth into the service for the work of the tabernacle of the congregation, and those that were numbered of them by their families were 2,750. That's a lot of people for back in the day, but back in the day was very advanced. There was soap. There was even soap. There was Baghdad batteries that were alive for a very long time. And I don't know, maybe I should look up how long a Baghdad battery was around. But there was soap, there was electricity through the use of a Baghdad battery. And I assume gold and copper. Well, yeah, there was copper in Egypt. From an article I read way back when there was copper running through the lines for the plumbing of Egypt. Even plumbing was around back then. It was an advanced society. They weren't in caves or none of that. Let's keep going. Verse 37. These were they that were numbered of the families of the Kohathites, all that might do service in the tabernacle of the congregation, which Moses and Aaron did number according to the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. And those that were numbered of the sons of Gershon throughout their families and by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entereth into the service for the work of the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them throughout their families by the house of their fathers, were 2,630. These are they that were numbered of the families of the sons of Gershon, of all that might do the service in the tabernacle of the congregation, whom Moses and Aaron did number according to the commandment of the Lord. You see here, number them, call them out. And those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari throughout their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that entereth into the service for the work in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them after their families, were 3,200. These be those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Moses. All those that were numbered of the Levites, whom Moses and Aaron and the chief of Israel numbered after their families and after the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that came to do the service of the ministry and the service of the burden in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them, were 8,540. I should look that up on Google. How much is that? I'll keep going. Verse 49. According to the commandment of the Lord, they were numbered by the hand of Moses, every one according to his service and according to his burden. Thus were they numbered of him, as the Lord commanded Moses. Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to downsize the video to Google that number, but I'm sure it was a pretty high number. This put in that keyword 8,504 score. Probably is a lot. I don't know. Yeah, but the moral of the story is what I just read right here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.